Hi, this is Regina Y. Favors with Homeless Recovery Tips. So I have a topic here, secure yourself first, that I want to discuss briefly. So what I mean by this is that when you are homeless, when you have struggled with some form of homelessness, sometimes homelessness could be determined as you losing your job, meaning that you are between jobs. But it could also mean, of course, physical homelessness, where you are living outside or living in a shelter or any other living with a family member, friendships or anything like that. Consider those as examples of homelessness. But when you are just in transition, you are leaving one state of mindset in terms of homelessness to now becoming a housed person, or you are just in transition to securing a job. The most important thing you want to do is secure yourself first. Securing yourself first really is a financial target in terms of understanding what you need to do. So that means that you need to get a job, and you need to get a sustainable job that you know will last you at least 2 to 5 years. So that means I don't know what you need to do in terms of education wise, because I don't know what your educational background is. But if you know that you are lacking in some form of education, or your skills are not up to date, you can always choose the community college route. You can always do a 4 course certificate in something, or a 2 year associate's degree, and it will allow you to update your skills. That's what I mean also by securing yourself first. So that means you are looking at 3 categories in your life. And I always look at these categories. I place all particular activities under these 3 categories. So the categories are academic, professional, and personal. So then, if you've been homeless for X amount of years, and you could have a degree, you could have already an associate's degree, but if you were homeless in say 2013 and it's 2022 now, then it begs to question whether or not you have updated skills to enter the workforce. Uh, Whether you decide to go the vocational route, or go work in an office, or work for an organization, at some point you're going to have to update your skills. So that should be an important task, an important goal that you set to assess your academic status, academic understanding, knowledge base. Do you have computer skills? You cannot get a job today without some form of technology. Um, um, you don't necessarily have to be an expert, but you do have to have some form of understanding about how to work a computer, how to work word processing. Um, the fact that you have and I have a smartphone is maybe over half the battle right there, because they are computers. So then you just sort of see if you can transfer those skills into using a laptop or a desktop. Regardless, you're going to have computer skills. So if you are not, um, if you do not have those skills, if there's a gap in your knowledge base between whatever time you began homelessness and the current year that you're in, then that is the way that you would secure yourself academically. You need to enroll in a college course and update skills. Otherwise, if you don't, it will keep you, that lack of knowledge will prevent you from moving forward and earning better money. Sometimes you can get into these jobs where they train you on the job. A lot of times, that is something that used to happen in the 90s and 2000s. But things are so individually based that you need to already come with those skills. So it just depends on the company. But you can always make the case that you can always go and work for Walmart, Target, UPS, FedEx, anything to get you started to secure yourself first. And in those jobs, they train you, they add to your existing knowledge base, and that is a way that you can secure yourself first. And then that sort of moves into the professional. So that means you need to set the goal of staying on one job for at least the next 5 years, even more if you can. So that means that choose the job that you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you can stay on. There may be some jobs that you just have to take so that you can fulfill whatever requirement you need to fulfill. If you are part of a program, take the job. It gives you, when you do that, the job gives you a reference. Um, the existence of a job gives you a reference, it gives you contact people, it gives you hours, it gives you money, it gives you something that you can hold tangibly in your hand so that when you do decide to pursue the job you really want to go after, then you will have a record of success. You would have stayed on that job for 1 to 2 years. You would have built up a rapport with your supervisor, maybe move up a little bit or something like that. And then that gives you record of successes. You do well on that job, and so that person can then give you a good recommendation. But if you decide not to take anything at all, it hinders you from the next goals that you need to set. And the next goals are always the financial goals. So I, if you are living in a shelter right now on program, and they usually give you 6 months, depending on the program, or it could be up to 18 months to 2 years. Okay, then your goal should be to save money. And usually those programs require um, the participants to save a percentage of their money anyway, so that they know that you're going to exit the program and exit the shelter. You need to have some funds. And so then, if your goal is to get an apartment, um, say your goal is to get an apartment, well, you know you need 3 times the rent for an apartment. So then, what kind of money are you making that will allow you to save 3 months of rent and earn 3 times that amount in order for you to get an apartment? So you may have to connect to a housing assistance service where that you can get in, and your rent is reduced. That is a goal. Not only is this an academic goal to secure yourself, now you have a job goal, right? To stand on and build a record of success, and now you have a housing goal that you need to tackle, address, and then achieve something with that. And so once you do those 3 things, it allows you to assess where you are, where you need to be. And so then when you get to the personal goal, you have to determine, is it time for a relationship? If you're still homeless in a homeless shelter, it's not time for a relationship unless both you and your partner are both living in the homeless shelter together. The the one partner on one side of the homeless shelter and another partner on another side of the homeless shelter. But if that's not the case, until you secure yourself first, you do not have time to be in a relationship. It's a distraction. You need to get yourself into an academic course. You need to get yourself onto a job. You need to build a record of success. You need to work towards getting an apartment, your own space. And if you do not qualify to get your own space, then you could roommate, but make sure your name is on the lease. Don't set yourself up to fail, in the sense that if you move in with someone whose name is on the lease, that person can easily tell you to leave. Then you are homeless again. In other words, don't set yourself up to be homeless. Don't create circumstances that will allow you to be homeless again, and it keeps you in a cycle. It's what you will often hear, recidivism in the correctional law enforcement context. People who go in and out of prison, go in and out of jail, because they haven't set up a stable situation that is sustainable. You can be in a stable situation living at somebody's house, but it's not necessarily sustainable because it's not your house, and then you're basically homeless. And remember, if your name is not on the lease, you sleeping on that person's couch, you eating up their food, whatever that is, you are still considered homeless until it is your place where your name is on a lease, where you have secured it, or you are at least part of a roommate situation where you have rights. You are still homeless. So that's your academic, your professional, and personal. Think about reconsider this idea that you have to hurry up and get somebody, or you have to reignite some previous relationship. It's just a distraction until you get yourself together. And a lot of times, once you get yourself together, you realize it's not time for you to be in a relationship. If you find yourself pulling at a relationship right after homelessness, right after you getting out of jail, right after a job loss, that is your way of trying to create a security blanket. And so you want to make sure that you secure yourself first. That means emotionally, mentally, psychologically, spiritually, academically, professionally, personally to you, so that you don't create circumstances where you are homeless again. So this is homeless recovery tips. Secure yourself first.